It's
What's
on.
your record, tell me? Alright, so what's up guys, this is Rocky Power of Youth, and I have with me my man, my good friend Delix the Reviewer. Say hi.
Hola.
One of, one of, in my opinion, one of the most underrated content creators on YouTube. The guy has amazing opinions, I really respect him, and one of the best friends I have in this community. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'm very honored to have him as a guest today.
Thank you.
So what we're gonna discuss today is the Boruto manga, and Delix is kind of known for criticizing the manga.
Used to be. I
Uh,
stopped my reviews a long time ago.
yeah, he has a bad history with the Boruto fans. So we're just here to clarify: we're not bashing your manga. We don't think it's garbage or the worst thing we have ever seen. It's just we have some problems with them. We're just trying to discuss it, right? That's all. We're gonna be professional about it, so don't worry. Just to put that in, don't get triggered and put these salty ass comments and just bashing us for no reason. Just to clarify that. You're on board. Yeah, Delix?
Am I going
Yo.
first?
Alright, go ahead.
Well, this chapter is interesting, I guess, for the fan base. The reason why I keep up with it, and yes, I don't like Boruto, but it's related to the universe that I love a lot, so I'm constantly going to be worried about it. Not to mention, Boruto manga is really hard to escape from because it's all over social media. The content creators that I follow talk about it. So even if I want to stop reading it, I'm gonna see it all over. I see I see other creators like Clyde on Twitter talking about it for Neverworld. All my favorite creators that I watch. They're gonna talk about it, so I can't really just escape the Boruto universe. Like it's impossible at this point. So the new form, I'm not I'm not okay with it at all, but you know, people are happy that he's finally getting a new power up, and that's good and all. But I'm not really a big fan of Naruto power ups anymore after the six paths form. I don't like what that form represents. It's a cool design, but ever since it got to the six path form, I'm kind of meh with the Naruto transformations at now. I felt like KCM2 should have been the limit, but that's pretty much it. It's weird, but he has it. I don't really know how to comprehend it. Apparently, Chrome has always had it within his body, but in my opinion, it was invented last month, and it wasn't invented back in 1999.
Yeah, so I would have to agree with you, Delix. I think, yeah, the Naruto power up for me, I think, I'm not sure if most of the board defend them are old Naruto fans or not. I'm not quite sure, but I think whoever is liking this missed the point of what Naruto used to be about. So for me, Naruto means a lot to me. It's a lot of people call me the Naruto nerd. I mean, Naruto is really my life right now. I mean, I love Naruto so much. Even though I'm kind of a late bloomer to it, I would call myself, or to the fandom at least. Naruto changed my life and made me a lot of amazing people. So
Uh huh.
I respect Boruto. I respect the Boruto writer. Like I don't shit on the writers. That's just not who I am. But I will shit on the series if I think it misses a lot of points. Now, for the Naruto form, since this is just a general discussion for now, all I'm gonna say is the Naruto form it lacks build up. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, but you guys wanted Naruto and Sasuke to stop getting their asses kicked," but at least do it right. You know, I don't mind. I didn't mind Naruto and Sasuke losing the first fight because it was like it's the way they lost. You know, like Naruto Sasuke losing is not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you do two fights and it's pre time skip, this is worrying because like are they gonna get their asses kicked a third time, a fourth time? Like how many times are you gonna do it? And here's the thing, like what however Boruto really escalates in power, it's not gonna feel earned because he's already, if you think about it, when he transforms to Momoshiki, he's already as powerful as Naruto and Sasuke, which is like kind of BS because he's a 13-year-old. It's too fast. You know, it took Naruto, I would say about like obviously part one was 28 volumes in the manga, so you're talking like way over half the series. It took him to surpass Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was just his master, and it took him like the war arc to surpass his father.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, the power escalation in Boruto is a big problem because here you're talking about a kid who's already on the level of his father at the age of 13. And here's the problem where it comes. And he doesn't have to be involved in everything. You know, Naruto wasn't involved in the fight with Jiraiya and the Three Sonic. He was just with Kabuto, and Kabuto was in his power wasn't as powerful as the other, Jonin and stuff. He was like the lower tier, you know.
So basically,
So it's like the power.
Boruto is too overpowered at his age.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's something you just gotta have to accept. I don't like it either, but there's nothing I can do about it. But people look up to Boruto, people relate to Boruto, and I'm glad, but I have no reason to care for his character as a whole. But people seem to get a
Yeah.
lot out of Boruto compared to that I did, and that's fine. Everyone deserves to love everything. I don't like Boruto at all, but they love it, and that's fine. But that doesn't change the fact that you can't escape criticism. It's okay to shit on Naruto all the time, but when you talk about Boruto, it's
Sure.
illegal. It's illegal, apparently. But, it's fine. Everyone can talk bad about Naruto. I see it every year. But apparently, when it comes to Boruto, it's like you can't even touch that fan base because they don't want to hear criticism. But that's life, kid.
I mean, to be fair, I personally myself shit on Naruto a lot. I mean, you can ask Delix. I call him Mochi Kishimoto Lover the Reviewer. That's kind of a joke between us. Like, I criticize Naruto too. Like, so it's really okay to criticize a series. I don't see the problem with.
Yeah.
I have seen I've seen people call the guy who did like Boruto is. I'm sorry, but the Boruto manga is trash. Like that guy with like the Jamaican accent. I
Yeah.
don't know his name, but yeah, that guy at IP Gaming. I ever see his comments. If you're not calling him chump and something, it's like that's not an argument. You're just insulting someone because of a piece of fiction.
How do you feel about Yoshiki, or whatever his name is?
Yoshiki. Okay, so Yoshiki was Yoshiki. I think today is my favorite Boruto villain because
I have no reason to care for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the way he died is the last arc really made him to kind of a dork. But for me, what made him good was like he had a lot of potential. Essentially, he had really great great like character. It was really fun to watch. Like I liked how he just fucked around with Ward, like the gang and stuff. And his abilities are really interesting. Like he has like a rod thing, but just like with the anime writing, he didn't really fulfill his potential. Nowhere near. Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do, the structure I'm gonna go over every point. I think there's a problem with Boruto, and we're gonna discuss it together. So this is a bit more structured. So I think my first problem with Boruto is the villains. The villains of Boruto are legit. Forget Naruto. I think they're some of the worst villains I've seen in anime history. Right?
Delta was cool. Delta's the only one I actually liked, but that was because I just liked her attitude. But attitude versus character writing there is completely different. I just think she was the coolest out of all of them, but that's it.
My guy Delix asking for Sakura hentai. So I mean, are you sure you just like her for being cool, or is there like physical reasons behind it?
Nah, I'm still waiting for that Delta hentai, but it hasn't been invented yet. But besides that, Bora was useless. That one dude, I forget his name. The one that we keep seeing in the Boruto manga, but he hasn't done anything. I forget his name is Code or something. We don't know nothing about him, but I don't know. I really don't have any reason to care for their characters or care for their feelings or their beliefs or wherever they feel. At this point, I don't care if Naruto or Sasuke die because I don't like the writing of both of them. I don't recognize their characters anymore because Kishimoto isn't writing them. So if they die, they die.
Okay, so we're gonna get to that point later, but since we're talking about the villains, okay, so I've seen people say Ishiki is better than Pain, and that's fine. It's opinions, but I think I have to break this down because Pain, look. The Naruto villains, what made them really unique, and I thought about this today, mainly, is they were all different, like, you had Deidara. Deidara doesn't have much character. I love Deidara, but
Deidara's
what made
awesome.
Deidara special is his, like, first of all, he's funny, he has a personality, he has a unique motive, which isn't, like, exactly, like, I would say an end-all motive. It was more of a, like, personal motive. It was personal enjoyment. So when you see him, and then just finding someone, you combine it all together, it makes a unique villain. And then you have Sasori, who said, so not every villain is the same, and not every villain is different. It's kind of a good mixture. Naruto had a good mixture. You had Data, who's like just a fuckhole, like he likes to fuck around. You have like Sasori, who went through some stuff. He's a maniac. He's He's kind of a sandwich of Orochimaru, but that's taken from T-Bright. So yeah, T-Bright helped me with that point. And you have obviously Orochimaru, who wants to learn immortality, which I think is, I think that was, I would say that was inspired from Dragon Z, because a lot of Dragon Z villains like immortality. Um, and then you have Kakuzu, who wants money. You have Hidan, who's a, he's a sociopath who's supposed to kill everyone. He has a ritual. So at the point, every villain is different. Pain, the reason why Pain is better than Ishiki is Ishiki's legit the worst Naruto I've ever seen. I'll even say, the Mist Brothers, who got defeated by Kakashi with one hit.
Yep.
I would say they are better villains than Ishiki, because at least they have personality. Even though that sounds weird, they had something behind them. Ishiki's he's there. He doesn't do much. He doesn't have a personality. He has the trait of being nice. Naruto. Sorry Naruto for entering your house. That sort of attitude. And it doesn't sit with me well. He doesn't do much. Borza was a plot device. Delta is a plot device. The power scaling behind what's his name again? Amado, entering the village, beating a Jonin level ninja like Shikadai doesn't make any sense. And he's really boring. He's just like a rip-off Kabuto. In a way. And then obviously you have, what was it again? Code has done nothing. I mean, most of the I would say that Kashin Koji is a poorly done Jiraiya just for sale, which is really disrespectful. I'll get into that later. They did that for sales, why would you do that? There's a lot of problems, and the villains, they have no depth to them. They're just plot devices, and that's what kind of ruins it for me. You can go ahead, Delix, if you have anything more to tell.
Don't really have much to say except I don't know. I'm just really there to right now reading it. For right now, I'm just reading Boruto to see who's actually gonna die or not. I mean, at this point, I don't really care about any of the characters, the new characters I'm talking about. And if people are feeling the story, they're feeling it. But personally, I'm not feeling anything. I feel more character writing in Eden and Eddie compared to Boruto at this point. I just don't. I'm not trying to insult the show as a whole. I'm just saying if I don't feel or care for your characters, then I don't know what to say. If you feel for characters, you feel for them, and sometimes you just don't. And I just don't have any reason to care for Boruto, Minsky, or Kara. I don't have any reasons to care for them emotionally or be interested in them. They seem like they're characters that are just to be cool. And that's some of my issues that I have with Bleach. Most of the characters are just cool and badass, but they lack a lot of character detail. And that's what I get from the new characters within Boruto. They're just badass characters, but I don't have any reason to emotionally be attached to them, and that's my problem. So at this point, be sad if Sasuke or Naruto dies, but since Kishimoto's not writing them, I can't feel it. I just can't feel it.
Alright, so the next good point that you brought up, since we're talking about character writing, character writing is my next point. Boruto, I'm gonna say this right now, Boruto has the worst character writing I've seen in any shonen in my entire life. I would say even Demon Slayer has better character writing. I mean, no character in Boruto is interesting or has any sort of development other than Kawaki, and Kawaki has been kind of regressing from time to time. He's been acting sort of. So remember that Sarada fight when he was trying to protect Naruto, but he was losing his cool.
Yeah.
That's not how Kawaki is. I noticed Kodachi does this in every single fight or in every single where he switches the character's actions, which will be against their character, just to make the other character look better. You know what I mean? Kawaki acting dumb to make Sarada look like the captain, and then Boruto acting kind of like the badass and making Sasuke look dumb in the last chapter. It's kind of that thing,
Yeah.
And Kodachi's not consistent with the character writing right here. Metal Lee is boring and uninteresting as hell. His motive or what they're trying to tell behind his character is good, but it doesn't hit enough because he doesn't get enough screen time. I think Iwabi is one of the best characters in Boruto, but they don't really give him spotlight because, it's not really important, I guess, but he's kind of a Naruto character in my opinion. Iwabi has that potential, but they never give him that screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Boruto Joe it's very rushed. I mean, the anime is a different thing. We're talking about the manga here. The manga, it's not nearly as rushed, but it really rushes the character writing. Like, we haven't seen any character writing. And I could even make an argument for Sakura Part 1 being better than all of the board's characters. And I'm being legit serious here. So, let me just get over this real quick, Felix. I'm going to get to boring detail, but feel like I have to explain this very well. So, Sakura Part 1 is very realistic. Yes, she has mistakes, but so for example, when she said Naruto is kind of an orphan and she mocked him and everything, that was her reality check to know that it doesn't play in black and white. It's more than that. People
Mm-hmm.
act a certain way because of things that happen in your life. And then in the Haku and Zabuza, I think in the manga she saves Naruto from death. She starts to care more for Naruto. She even though she's afraid and you can clean her, she's shitting her pants. She's still willing to save Tazuna.
Yeah.
She stood up. She knew how to express her feelings when Sasuke died, or well, he fainted, I guess. Um, she was starting to get more of the out of that book smart type person, starting to come more of her emotion out. In the next mission, you see, yes, in the tuning exams, I think is where her best character writing comes in part one.
Yeah.
She knows that she's useless, but she still confronts her uselessness. She tries to kind of face that. She knows that she fucks up, but it takes Rock Lee to kind of go out, all out, and even though he's useless and he doesn't have taijutsu, to kind of for her to stand up. It takes that action. You know
Yeah.
what? I've always been relying on people. I've always been. I should do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at that, she was willing to sacrifice herself, although she knew she's not going to do anything. She was alone, but she did it. You know why? Because she cared for Naruto, Sasuke, and Akui. Their actions changed her, and that's what made her interesting. Because she admitted her uselessness, but she still tried to change. And then in the next part, you see her improve much. She respects Rock Lee. When Rock Lee loses, she tried to sympathize with him. After he got crushed by Gaara and his Shinobi days were over, she did go to him to the hospital. And the hospital, she was finally understanding men. I'm pretty sure you hear this right when Kishimoto said he was trying to make Sakura a character that kind of doesn't understand men, and then she kind of slowly does that. That's where her character does that. Like it hits that point.
Yeah.
Um, and then she was trying to change herself. These actions changed her. She stopped caring about Sasuke all the damn time. Um, After Naruto failed to bring Sasuke back, she said that she would try to stop being a burden herself. And then she went by herself to ask Tsunade to train her. And then which led up to her character progressing heavily in Shippuden, although it had some slow points. So if you tell me any Boruto character had that sort of realistic writing and development, then I don't know. Or Kawaki's the only character that keeps regressing, and no, Sarda's not better. Because all Sarda does is she's really powerful and she's a captain type character. I have not seen any interesting moments from her that develops her, makes her interesting. Yeah. So the character writing is definitely one of the worst. Is what the kind of fan fiction material for me, at least. There's no character writing. It's non-existent. It's
Yeah.
yes, it's non-existent. So do you want to add any points to that, Delix?
Uh,
I,
the only thing I really have to say is the same thing I said earlier. I just don't feel for the new characters in Boruto. They just feel so dull.
Sure. They don't have anything interesting, but like they have never mind development. They don't have the personality behind them.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people do relate to Boruto, and that's fine. That's fine. But for me, I just don't have any reason to see what you see in them, And it's not saying that I hate Boruto.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to hate Boruto for the sake of hating Boruto as a character. It's been like 5 years. It's been long enough, and I still have just no reason to really sympathize or care for him. It's just, I'm not saying I hate Boruto just because he is for who he is. I just don't have any reason to really follow up to his story. I just don't think his story is as interesting or as relatable compared to Naruto's. But if you relate to Boruto and if you had father issues, that's cool. But somebody who never had a father growing up, I can't really relate. So, yeah, it's like Yeah, he fixes issues with his dad. That's good and all, but for me, it's like whatever. But if you like Boruto and if you relate to Boruto, that's fine. But I just did not see what you saw in him.
All right, we're gonna get to Boruto full this another time. So my next point is the story. The story of Boruto is fine. It has potential, but the main problem with Boruto is it's all over the place. So I don't know what it's trying to portray, but I'm assuming the main point is to show that Boruto overcomes the Sutskis and he overcomes hatred and he becomes like this, like kind of like Sasuke, Kakashi type character, comes understanding. I'm not seeing that, right? Like, there's no build. I don't feel like the build up is right for that moment. And like, here's the thing. I think Kodachi said the manga should give 120 chapters maximum, 128. And if we do the math, that's about 40% of the story. We're
Yeah.
40% throughout the story, and we have not even reached like 10% of these events, and that's kind of worrying. If you're gonna cover all these events after the time skip, you're gonna have to have enough build up for it, and you don't have that. So once the story is focusing on the Utsutsuki, once it's focusing on Boruto, once it's focusing on Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry. I don't know where the story is. It's kind of all over the place. I'm not sure what they're trying to do exactly. Is it Boruto being a prodigy and then just losing everything, or is it just I don't know,
I
villain getting
mean,
destroyed
if
and
Boruto loses
overcoming it?
everything, Boruto loses everything. It loses everything. I don't really have anything to really be concerned or be sympathize for
Sure.
his story. If he loses it, he loses it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the thing is, we haven't really. I don't think they have fleshed out the story enough for us to kind of like. We don't know what Kara are. We don't know who Boruto is as a person yet. I mean, that's kind of weird. He's the main character. We don't know what his goal is. That's for another time. Though. We're gonna get to Boruto's character, but the main issue here is we don't know what the story is. I am confused. I'm trying to figure out myself. What's the story of Boruto?
Yeah, I don't even
Is it
understand
about
the
Lucius?
story either sometimes. Sometimes it's about the Okatsuki, sometimes it's about Boruto,
Exactly.
sometimes it's about what's going to happen to Naruto. It's like there's so many plot points of what's actually the main story, and I really don't know what they're doing anymore. And sometimes it's about the God Tree, it's about the Okatsuki, it's about Boruto, it's about Naruto and Sasuke. It's like there's so much going on. I don't even know what story it's trying to tell here because there's so much happening.
True. Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. And the other thing is, they don't like Boruto. Basically, gave the anime to deal with the other characters, and just it's trying to focus on four characters: Kawaki, Boruto, Naruto, and Sasuke, and they're trying to do that. They're trying to cover the main points. But to be honest, the main points aren't great either because they're kind of blockbuster. There's no real empathy behind it. Like, oh God Tree. I mean, that's kind of a ripoff of Dragon Z and kind of a ripoff of One Piece. They're trying to do the devil fruit concept. I mean, that's fine, but it's kind of boring, and we have seen that before. There's no real character motive behind it. It's just let me beat up Naruto and Sasuke, make Boruto look like a god, and still they haven't given Boruto enough screen time either, which is kind of weird. He's the main character,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, what is what is Kawaki's prophecy? How does he exactly do this? I mean, I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. It's just a big clusterfuck. I don't know what's happening with the story. The next point would be Boruto. I mean, Jesus Christ. Okay, so Boruto. Who is Boruto? What is Boruto? And when is he going to become Boruto of the future? This literally sums up Boruto. We don't know who he is. We don't know what his goal is. We just know he's this boy who's going to lose everything. Well, there has been no foreshadowing to it. It's just been said like
Yeah.
multiple times in this series. What is his goal? We don't know. He's supposed to be cool like Sasuke, and then he doesn't even talk about that anymore. He doesn't do actions that do that anymore. I would say the last chapter did a good job of this character somewhat, like trying to defend the village and risking his life. And like the vessel concept is interesting, just like the Masked Man said, I think in his Boruto manga review. It's interesting, but it's not well done. They're not fleshing out Boruto. Who is Boruto? We don't know. What is his goal? We have no idea. He's has no goal. He has no personality. He's just there. He's just there, trying to be a video game type guy. He eats burgers in the anime. I don't know who he is. He's just a normal guy who has enormous power, and he's willing to sacrifice himself for the village. So if you tell me, he's kind of I would say Iruka is a better character than Boruto. And Erica had like what, one episode worth of screen time in the Naruto anime. So you know, I don't know. There's nothing behind Boruto's character. He's legit the worst main character I've ever seen in Shonen. So what would you say, Delix?
Uh, I pretty much said everything I needed to say, honestly.
So the next point would be, I mean, the world building. Shall we get into that?
I don't really think it's worth anything. It's just the village and
This will be a quick point. We have not seen any village other than Konoha. We have seen the other villages in the anime, but I mean, come on, guys, the board time isn't great. You all know this. I mean, that's kind of terrible. It's gonna be terrible world building.
yeah.
All of the fights are in different dimensions, which are kind of out of nowhere. They're assholes. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, wait,
I wish they would let Sasuke use his running gun. I forgot about that, but he keeps relying on Chidori and Matarasu. But there's so many other abilities he's just not using. Like you can't defend that. Like you can't defend that by Nagato, who's what people keep saying apparently that Nagato's weaker than Sasuke. But then again, Sasuke isn't doing half of what Nagato did in that one episode with all his abilities. It's like Sasuke can do more shit, but he's not using all of the abilities of the Renegade, and it's just like, what was the point of even giving it to him?
Yeah, we'll get into that, but so just a quick wrap for the world building on my part. I mean, it's just the same places. They find the same places. It's different dimensions, which never get expanded on ever again. And it's either in Konoha, so there's no really much world building in Boruto, other than the anime. And we're not talking about the anime, we're talking about the manga. So we're gonna go over that. We're gonna talk about the power scaling. Okay, so holy shit, the power scaling in Boruto is probably worse than even Dragon Ball Super's power scaling. You cannot tell me Team 7 beating Boro wasn't the biggest asshole since Obito getting that Mike Kingo Sharingan power up. I mean, it's just, where did this come from? Why did Boruto transform to Momoshiki? That came out of nowhere. Since when did Momoshiki give a shit about Boruto to transform to beat Boro? And I mean, Sarada using Chidori, I know it's in the novels, guys. Yes, but there wasn't no build-up to it. That's what I'm saying. Boruto, everything happens without build-up so quick. We don't know what's happening, you know? Like, the fact that they were giving him a hard time in the first place when he was supposed to be stronger than Delta, it's kind of contradictory. I don't know if you remember, but after the Delta Naruto fight, there was like news, I think from Organic Dinosaur, that Delta was the weakest inner member in Kara, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Boro losing to like he was suffering against Sarada, Kawaki, and Boruto, and that's just with the karma, which should make like all these four are Jonin level, and they're giving him really hard time, and he's supposed to be Kage level. Well, I mean, I would say Delta is as strong as like Hashirama, a bit probably powerful than that. So she's like in that tier. So Boru's supposed to be like as powerful as Kinshiki, as powerful as, you know, other Tsusuke we have seen. He's supposed to be at Tsusuke level, yet he's losing to kids who we have never seen before. We have never seen Naruto kids do that. Actually, Sakura needed the help of Chiyo, and she barely won. Even though I would say Sakura got the biggest power up from Naruto Power 1 to Shippuden. And she barely did shit, so I mean, Sixth Gate Lee, who was the strongest of the old new gen, and Shippuden, he barely did anything against 30% clone Kisame. And the fact that Boruto so the fact that Sarada was too fast that she actually penetrated Boro kind of came out of nowhere because we didn't see that coming. And then Boruto being in every fight with Ishiki. Well, I mean, minus the first fight. He's in every big fight. It's like, where's this coming from? You know, Kurama didn't come and just give Naruto every win, guys. When Kurama did the Naruto power, he was barely able to match Sasuke in the final valley. And Sasuke, so they were barely Jonin level, you know? And then you have Kawaki, and then you have Boro with this power being God level. First of all, where's the struggle behind mastering that power? Second of all, where did Momoshiki come from? Momoshiki never said that he will try and save Boruto. That was never stated. Kurama said, literally, it was stated in the series that if Naruto is close to dying, Kurama would come and save him. That never happened with Momoshiki. Momoshiki just said, "Oh, I'll try to take over your body." So that came out of nowhere. Second of all, it's too overpowered from the beginning. Like, Karma didn't make Naruto go at Kage level at the age of 13. It's that she made him Kage level by the pain arc. And that took like shit ton of hard work to master. And actually, never mind, he didn't even master it until like late in the series. So yeah, I mean that power scaling is all over the place, man. Like, what is the power scaling in Boruto? I mean, Naruto and Sasuke, the most powerful shinobi, losing in the first series. I mean, actually, never mind. You know what? Jiraiya and Itachi got way overpowered by Naruto and Sasuke in the war arc, and that was like, 40-something volumes in the series. And then you have Boruto almost on the level of Naruto and Sasuke since part 1, and they're losing to Ishiki, who's, God knows if he's the main villain or not in the first, pre-time skip. So it's like, how is Boruto going to be this strong? Where's the build-up to this? However Boruto wins against Ishiki, it's not going to fit right. So they already threw that out of the window. Just want to, you can explain your points, Delix, now, if you have any points to say. I think I think all over the points, to be honest.
I think you did as well. I don't have a whole lot to say, to be honest.
About the power scaling? Alright.
The power scaling is all over the place. That's really it. Like, nothing makes sense anymore, in my opinion.
True. That's why I think Boruto's fan fiction material. Because like the power scaling, it makes no sense.
Well, I get that Sada's Chidori was from a light novel, but when it's not in the manga or anime, and most people don't read light novels, then it was very confusing for most people.
Or there's no build up to it. Because, there's no build up to it. Like in the manga, they didn't even give hints about it. Everything is rushed and bored. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah.
So my other point is the nerf. Man, they keep nerfing the old gen. I mean, in part 1, remember when Shikamaru kind of held like 9 shinobi, or like from the Sound Village when like they attacked the Leaf, and then Asuma had to step up and beat all of them. Shikamaru was like one of the most powerful of the Konoha 11 back then, part 1, and then he barely was able to beat like father average shinobi. And then you have this, and then you have just, you know what I mean? Like, and then you have like these Mitsuki just leaving the village and beating all the Jonin and everything easily. It kind of makes no sense. And then you obviously have the Rock Village, which got invaded by Akuras. I mean, that's the anime. So manga-wise, it's just Boruto beating Boro. Where's Rock Lee? Where's Sakura? Where's Shino? Mitsuki beating Shino was bullshit. That shouldn't have happened. They're nerfing the old gen. It's not really how you should do things. You should progress slowly. They're progressing really fast with the new gen. What do you think?
Yeah, the power scaling is way too high in Boruto. I agree.
Yeah, they nerf the characters they nerf the old way too much. Naruto and Sasuke losing from part 1, and never mind losing. They're getting stomped like they're kids, and that's not how it should be. As I said, it took Naruto till the Pain Saga to surpass Jiraiya. Actually, never mind, till the War when he met Nagato and KCM. That's when he surpassed Jiraiya. Sasuke surpassed Itachi after acquiring the internal Maikido Sharingan EMS. Yeah, and so on. So that was like late into the series. And Boruto right here is just surpassing every Jonin from the first few arcs, and kind of out of nowhere. All right, so the next one is Aspos, or lack of training, as I'd like to call it, lack of training. Man, Boruto has some of the biggest Aspos I've seen in anime history. I mean, again, same point. Sarada getting Chidori out of nowhere, no build up to it. Mitsuki having Sage mode, which also came out of fucking nowhere.
Well, technically, Orochimaru experimented on Mitsuki, so I don't know if that was an Aspal or not, but
But why is it? Why is it not on screen? Aren't we as fans supposed to know these things? I
It
mean,
was on the screen. It was in the anime and manga.
no, I mean, I know, but when he got like how he got the Sage mode, they didn't really show how he got Sage mode.
Oh no, you're talking about how Orochimaru created it? I don't think he. I don't think that was explained.
No, I mean like you know when Kabuto got Sage mode, they showed like flashbacks of him like testing himself and training for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like it's the same with Mitsuki, but they didn't show anything. It was all off screen. The work to it, not how not that he got it. Like they didn't show what led up to him getting Sage mode. Is what I'm trying to say. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, again, Aspos, Kawaki getting Karma out of nowhere. I have no idea how he got Karma. Momoshika all of a sudden deciding Boruto of all people to possess, although that makes no sense. Yeah, I know he said Dark Prophecy and whatnot, but why did he choose Boruto specifically? Didn't flesh that out. How did he possess Boruto? That makes no sense either. They didn't explain that till this date. I mean... Caution Koji being Jiraiya, I was kind of called a character asshole because how did he find Jiraiya's clone? They did not explain that. You know what? Add to that lack of backstory, man. There's no backstories in Boruto. They don't explain shit. They keep putting the same thing over and over again. They're explaining stuff, and when they do, it's very disappointing. For example, Ishiki. Jigen being possessed by Otsutsuki, you would think it would be like this, oh man, another pain, another Kabuto, another, this sad guy who went through a sad life. And then no, he's just a monk. He got destroyed by Kaguya, apparently off guard. And then, yeah, let me just go to a monk on the earth and let me just possess him. Very cliche, very boring backstories. I like to add that with that point in. Aspels, we have not, Naruto getting a new form is an Aspel? I mean, where did that come from? That came out of nowhere. And Boruto being this powerful, Momoshiki choosing him does not make sense either. Sage mode Mitsuki makes sense. Sarada getting the Shaman is okay. For the Team 7, it just comes out of nowhere. Where did these Aspels come from? And then you have obviously Jiraiya being revived, which makes no sense. Or even if it's his clone, his body was deep into the ocean, didn't even bother to explain. So I would add this as one point, lack of backstories and Aspels. Would you like to add anything else to that, Delix?
I have no reason to care for Kashin Koji. That's really it.
Yeah, as my man Sakura says, he's a shock value. He's just like there to kind of hold on. First of all, he's done for sales. I don't care what anyone says. It's very disrespectful like Kodachi. It's clearly done for sales. And the new Naruto form is probably done for sales because Boruto's going downhill. Because people are probably realizing how terrible the story is. They're starting to pick up on it. And, I'm questioning now if he's really writing it for the sake of writing it or is it just the clickbait and kind of gain money from it. Because it's Naruto's legacy. I'm not sure, but what the recent chapters are showing me is that he's writing it for the sake of nostalgia and to hype people up about a kind of a clickbait sort of story. Kind of like Super. Super's writing is kind of like the clickbait old Jamilzy fans to watch the series, just to kind of get the sales, get the money for the company and themselves. So is he really writing it to kind of have a good story, or is he writing for the sake of sales and money? That we'll never know. But I'm starting to because Jiraiya now, Naruto getting a new form, Naruto hence dying. It's just I don't know, man. There's everything is all over the place, but pacing. Pacing of the manga. I'll say pacing / is one point. Pacing of Boruto is really fucking slow. We have been 50 chapters already in, which is supposed to be like 40% of the series right now, at least by the author's statement. And we have not really done much of the story. It's mostly fights after fight. Come on, we had like 10 fights in the last 20 chapters. Come on. It's all over the place. The pacing, We have not gone through character moments, character points, character arcs, story points. I mean, it's just same repeated information over and over again. They keep explaining how karma is useful against the Utsutsuki, which, by the way, I think they keep contradicting. Correct me if I'm wrong. But wasn't karma supposed to be like something to kind of seal Utsutsuki, right? And then now it's like a ruler against them or something? I'm confused. The karma is so confusing. They keep explaining. They keep giving like thousands of explanations of it. I mean, I don't know what the karma is anymore. The pacing is slow. The story does not progress at all. We have not seen anything which lead up to the after the time skip.
Lee, we're
Yeah,
about to be
yeah, right.
about 40 minutes in. Do you have everything else you needed to say?
Yeah, I was saying about the pacing and the fights. Yeah, like the pacing and the fights are just they're all over the place. You know what I mean? Like it's really just it's wacky. Pacing, as I said, in the fights. There's a lot of fights in the series to try and make it flashy. And I'll just.
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. We're still on the pacing point. Again, Boruto fans are not meaning to bash your shoes, just, just criticism we have with it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Check out Delix, the reviewer, in the description below, and enjoy this video. Subscribe if you like the video if you like this, type of video, and yeah. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you can dislike it, so that's up to you. Have a good day guys, peace out. Catch you on the